evening. Welcome back to Combe TV. My God, guys, I've missed you all. It's been far, far too long, hasn't it? But it's great to be back with Combe TV, episode 88. And just to make sure that not everything changes, I've still got the gin in hand. So do not worry. It's still here. We're still ready to go. Already the comments are coming in. Stuart Tinker Taylor, the Fuffer lover. Good evening, mate. Good evening, Chris, from a Fuffer loving Camp Softcore fan. Bring on the 2025 racing season. Looking forward to Media Day. Absolutely. The Media Day, dilly, of course, he says there. Let's make sure that sticks as well. I've always got to remind myself, what is it? April the 5th, Saturday, April the 5th. Remember, you can come down and watch that one as well. So everybody's going to be out. They're going to be testing their cars. We've got the media catching up with everybody there as well. I think I'm going to be broadcasting live from there with bits and pieces throughout the day as well. It's the real start of Pistol, isn't it? And what interesting news I saw, was it today or was it yesterday? That the Higgins are back again in the Formula Fords. Adam and Richard Higgins are doing a full tilt on the Castle Combe Formula Ford Championship. I got to be honest and say I love that news. That's really, really cool. It's like the band getting back together, isn't it? But that will make it interesting. Our very own Emma Strawford. Evening, Emma. She says, evening all. French red at hand. I'm delighted to hear that hasn't changed as well, Em. But enjoy. Alicia, hi Alicia, evening Mr. Dawes and everyone. Welcome to you, Alicia. I hope that we're going to see you out in the Formula Fords as well. That would be brilliant to see you back out there. I know you sort of chop and change which era you race in, don't you, in the Formula Fords, but it'll be great to see you out there. So we're into 2025. The season is nearly upon us. Well, we're all into February. We were hoping to do this show last month in January, but both myself and our guest tonight were both busy, so it was a struggle to get it all set up together, but we've made it. We've managed to do it. Sam Preston, he says, oi, oi. Oh, you can't get down with the kids, Mr. Preston. You're not young enough, so don't oi, oi me, sunshine. Keith Rain, hello, mate. Good evening to everyone. That's our pit lane guru. He's going to be down there, I hope, next year as well. Rob Jones, hello, mate. Evening all, and congratulations to Helen on her new position as Chief Marshal. I'm sure you will do an awesome job. The good news is she's smiling cheekily in the background. I can see her down there. I'm not sure whether that's I hope so, or whether she knows it. She knows she's going to do fine. And yes, by the way, you're safe. She's got crazy coloured hair already, so we're okay. We're in safe hands. Peggy, happy birthday to Peggy Spackman. Your daughter turned, was it 6 yesterday? And it's your birthday today. So congratulations on, what's that, 19, 20? I can't remember, Peggy, but happy birthday to you, darling. And I hope that Ross has spoiled you rotten. And she's said, yeah, we love Helen. See, don't put your hands over your eyes, Helen. That's lovely. The precious mountain on you. It is. And this is what today's show is about. It's lovely because I've seen Helen about many, many a time at the circuit, and we kind of have a sort of enough banter when we're there. When she's running one direction and I'm running the other direction, or I'm in the box and she's running past the back of the open door, that's kind of been about the limit of it. But she is, as of this season, she's going to be our Chief Marshal. Beardy, of course, Richard Beard, he has decided that he's done it for enough years, and he selected who was going to be able to take over his what he's done so well with. And Helen has had it thrown at her. No, she's volunteered. She's ready to do it. Before I bring her out, Joe Shingler. Good evening, Mr. Dawes. Looking forward to the new season and the Chief Marshal. There you go. The tog's going to get you as well, Helen, so you're in trouble now. Tom Davies, hello, Dawsy. First time hearing this. Is it really, mate? I thought that you caught up. Maybe it's on one of the other shows I do that I catch up with you, but who knows? Welcome to the show anyway. Right, let's bring out our new for 2025, our Chief Marshal. It is Helen Magee. Helen, good evening.
Hello.
Welcome to the show. I could see you in the background there, and you could hopefully you could feel the love.
I can feel the concern of any questions that are coming my way, definitely, especially with jinglers involved. So yeah.
Yeah, totally understand that. I mean, but I mean, that's the thing that we all love, isn't it? Is that Castle Combe is such a family, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think marshalling's a family. You travel around the country and you bump into the same people and kind of have that kind of conversation and laugh and stuff. But yeah, Combes are very, because of the size of Combe and the lucky numbers that we have there, it does feel really, and you know, we nickname it the friendliest circuit in England, and others will argue, but I'm biased now, so it definitely is.
Yeah, I mean, and you mentioned there about the lucky on the numbers. We really have. I've had times when I've been commentating at, say, Donington Park, and it's due to be on the full GP circuit, and then I had one example where that had to change at the 11th hour to the national circuit because there just wasn't enough marshals to cover the Melbourne Loop. And that's not uncommon where it can be
No.
stretched a bit thin. Whereas I know that Beardy used to have moments where he actually had to turn people away.
Yeah, so let's not put that out there. But yeah, no, we're always grateful for all marshals. But yeah, we're really lucky in that, you know, if you talk to some of the guys that do Silverstone regularly, they're on post on their own, for some meetings as well. So I think we're really lucky. I think the racing that we bring in, and that obviously Richard's now involved in as well, looking at what series and bringing the series in. So don't want people to think he's disappeared. He's like even more wheeling and dealing behind the scenes, but just isn't doing the Chief Marshal stuff. So yeah, so I think we're really lucky, and I think we get some great racing, and I think that helps.
Yeah, I think Richard's gone out of the frying pan into the fire somewhat there, hasn't he? But there we go. That's another story for another day. Jeff Cusworth says, even in Dawesy and everyone, 'tis good to be back. Must be almost time to sort the orange wear out for my 45th season. That's another key point, isn't it, Helen? That we're talking that people that have been there for incredible numbers of years.
Yep, we've got a number of marshals that have done the same as Jeff and been around for 45 years or even longer in some cases, you know. And some of the stories that they tell about the kind of went before the fencing went up and before the barriers were in, and then occasionally the photos come out and you see like camp with just a bank and people watching it. You're just like, oh my goodness. And so yeah, so there's all that kind of memories there as well. So but I think it's really good to get some of the younger guys involved as well, and
Yeah.
then you kind of live on in those memories, don't you? And you can share those photos that everyone laughs about and has a giggle about, and just going, how did we, why?
I know. Well, so when I host the Castle Combe Racing School, I always ask the question: is there marshals here? Because sometimes in the attendees there'll be the odd Orange Army, and but at the end as well, I always use it as an example that says no one gets closer to the action other than the drivers themselves, and the camaraderie is just phenomenal, and I see it all around in fact around the world, because and I don't mean to be biased, but I think it's actually genuinely true, is that we're the best marshals in the world, which is why a lot of our marshals are over at Formula One events, Le Mans 24 hour, all those kind of things, because they know what they're getting.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, you know, a few years ago before I started marshalling, some of our guys went to do some of the Asia Grand Prix because they were brought in because of their experience. I know that some guys still go to the American ones because again, the Americans aren't used to marshalling in the same way that we do here, because they're on rescue and recovery trucks.
Yeah.
So yeah, so kind of the differences and stuff. And yeah, I mean, I was lucky enough. I managed to persuade uh, cajole people into going to Spa last year to do the F1. So there was a group of us that went over to Spa, and the difference between how we marshal and how they marshal in Europe is, it would be shocking to some people, I think, but we still had an amazing time. The guys that we were on post with were lovely, but yeah, just kind of, it's a different way of doing it, that's for sure.
It really, really is. Joseph Bassett says, not long now. Can't wait for the racing to start again. Good luck in your new role, Helen.
Oh, thanks, Joe. That's really sweet. And I think you got your upgrade as well. So well done.
Fair shout. That's good to hear. Jamie Peters Ennis says, evening, mate. Belated Happy New Year. So pleased that Helen has been chosen to take over from Richard. She is a fabulous marshal and will be inspiring to those looking at joining, male and female. which is a lovely comment, Jamie, to make for Helen. And I agree, because you really, I mean, we're seeing it even in this show. You have such an energy, uh, and you try. I've watched you really passing that on with everybody the way you manage, and pick up on Jamie's comment there. What's lovely, I've just said about people with longevity, but you and those with the longevity are so welcoming and so supportive to the new marshals, and we have the taster days and all of those kind of things. And as I was saying in the racing school, I advocate massively. Get involved, come and do it. It's such an incredible experience.
Yeah, it's really good. And this is where it sort of ties into what else I do in motorsport. So for my sins, I am the BMMC recruitment manager for the Southwest, so the British Motorsport Marshals Club. I'm the recruitment officer for the Southwest. So I get a lot of the taster days coming to me via that route, as well as now through the Castle Combe Racing Club. So now I'm in a nice position where I can just put people on taster days. And so with our training coming up, I've managed to get a lot of new marshals onto our training for the weekend in March, so that they can get an idea, so we can just get them straight out in the track, because that's where most people want to be, is kind of involved in what's going on a race day.
Yeah, of course. And one of the other points that I make, because I think people kind of see a lot of you doing, like, if not every weekend, it's not a million miles away from it somewhere. But it doesn't have to be that way. I always say, if you can only do one weekend a year, then that's all you do. You are not signing your life away. You commit to whatever you're able to do.
Absolutely. So we've had people that do one day a year because they have a particular favorite meeting. We get a lot of people that just come to the Autumn Classic because they happen to prefer the Autumn Classic. We get people like myself who go somewhere every weekend. And I'm not the worst. I would point out there are people worse than me, but yeah, it's been touch and go. But yeah, so we've got people that are doing stuff every week. We've got people that only do Combe. And when I first started, I did only do Combe because I didn't realize the world outside of Combe, so I just did Combe. That was my commitment. But yeah, we're happy to see anybody. Training's a really useful thing to do, because there's some just general interesting stuff. We do first aid and we do firefighting and stuff like that, which is, can be useful even if you're in trying to escape a building with a fire extinguisher. You at least know what to do. And again, first aid is just a useful life skill. But yeah, but then, yeah, after that, it's you do what you want to do. We're never going to say you can't come because you haven't been for a while. It's if you only want to do one race meeting a year, that's absolutely fine. We've got no problem with that. We've got other people that want to do lots and lots of race meetings because they want to upgrade to get to a certain level so that they can do certain things. But we can accommodate anybody.
Yeah, because it's actually quite well managed, isn't it? You can't just suddenly show up and go, I've just started, I'm going to do the British Grand Prix. It's like, you've got to earn that, I guess, is the easiest way to say, and that's from experience, is that you need to get up. But that's part and parcel what I like the sound of, not just from a safety perspective, but it must feel like an achievement as you're doing that kind of thing.
Oh, definitely to get picked for the British Grand Prix was like, that was my goal, was to do enough days to get to my grading to be able to submit a request to attend the British Grand Prix, and then to get picked for it was mind-blowing. But it was in 2020, and of course COVID hit. And so we all got the thing that, they were reducing numbers, and so you can't get, if you have to bear that in mind if you get rejected. And so on a spur of the moment thing, they sent out saying, actually, we're really short of flag marshals. You've applied to be a track. Would you be interested in being flag? And I went, well, I'd rather go than not go. So I said, yeah, I'll do a track. I'll be flag if it will get me in. And as it happened, there were 3 of us that all applied, that were all newbies that year. We all got in. And so we all got to do the 2 race meetings. Because there was 2 that year with no crowd. It was like a track day.
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
It was
But
really...
you still had the track side was what you wanted, though.
Yeah, absolutely. That was my goal, and then I've been going every year since. We all have to be fair. So
I love that. I do love it that it's this whole cycle. I love as well, and I wish more would do this, is that there's national championships where the drivers get extra points if they spend a day marshalling.
Caterham's is a particular one where they do it for the academy. So Caterham's Academy, I did, I think it was last year, it might have been the year before, was Thruxton, and there was loads and loads of Academy guys, but we had 2 Caterham guys specifically on post. It's always an eye-opener for racing drivers to come out on post.
It helps them. I've spoken to them afterwards, and they've gone, that was really useful, because they can have times when they go into the kitty litter or whatever, and they're getting eggy because their adrenaline's high, and they're getting angsty with the marshals of what they're doing, and all of a sudden they've gone, I get it now. I know what's happening. And I guess in hindsight is that with the best will in the world, why would they know?
No, absolutely. I think that's why it's really useful. I think they find flagging really interesting as well, because obviously most drivers at some point will, oh, I didn't see a flag, or I didn't see this. I get it. I completely get it. They're in an adrenaline zone. But actually, you stick a racing driver who's not been on post before onto post with a flag in his hand and say, right, you blue flag when you think a car's overtaking. Oh, you missed that one. Oh, did you not? Yeah, they're like, well, how do you know?
Bang, bang.
At the same time, you might have something in the barrier, you might be radioing something in, another incident's going on, there's a piece of debris on the track. So there's a lot going on. And if, in our instance, there was only 2 of us on the post that day, we're doing everything. We're on the radio, we're flagging, we're clearing up, we're pulling them out. It can be quite eye-opening. And then also, because they're telling you it's eye-opening, you're just like, but this is what we do. It's nothing special. It's just what we learn to do. So yeah, it could be a two-way thing. And obviously from a driver's perspective, it's really helpful for them to come on post with us, because they could say, if you wave that flag there, I'm not looking. You need to be waving it when I'm back there.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, that can be quite interesting as well.
And I have found that they're exhausted after a day of doing it as well, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
So you appreciate that.
Especially if they've been driving the day before and then they come to us. So yeah, they're like, yeah, oh yeah.
I think it's a brilliant one. It really is a brilliant thing to do it, and they do it very cleverly. I feel them like production BMW, one of the BMW championships as well, that they used to do it. I don't know if they still do. I just think it's a good one to just appreciate, not just appreciate in terms of the thank you angle, but actually appreciate and kind of make sense of it. And I do think that's really, really useful. Still keeping up with the comments as we go as well. Matt Call, of course, the saloon car coordinator. Good evening, everyone. Can't wait for Lights Out. I hope you're doing well, mate. I've seen your posts. I see how you're doing. And just know everybody is here seeing you, and everybody's loving you, mate. And we're here for you, buddy. And we hope that we will see you this year, that your health permits you to come back to the circuit as the coordinator, because we look forward to catching up with you, buddy. Our very own Kat Delocco, evening to Kat. She was hoping to be on here with us as well, because she loves you as well. But she sadly wasn't able to make it. But evening to Kat. She'll be getting ready to work flat. Well, she probably already is flat out again, as always, doing an incredible job. Adam Clark says, evening all, can't wait for the new season to start. The overalls have been sat in my office taunting me all winter, waiting for the new season to start. Can we go racing yet? It's very close, mate. It's very, very close. We're nearly there. Jeff Cusworth, evening. Jeff says, sorry, I blocked us all now, but I'll put this up there. Camp was just a bank, laughing. So was old Paddock before the chicanes, and a real balls out corner. Thanks for that, Jeff. I was stood on top of it when Alo Lawler's rear suspension broke in his McLaren Formula 5000, and the bank acted as a launch pad, and he ended up about 50 meters behind it in the farmer's field. What he said so calmly after a 150 mile per hour accident is not repeatable here. Fair dues. Paul Wilkins says, I'm having to check my overalls to make sure they haven't shrunk over the winter. I feel you, brother. I feel you, definitely. I know that feeling. Rob Jones, so our very own Radstock Rocket, he says, I hope we will still see you on some of the bike days.
So yeah, I'm going to try and do. So I do track days as well in the week. I'm lucky in my job, I can do flex time. So yeah, Rob, I am hoping to come back and do some bike days, and I'm going on the track training, which is next week as well. So hopefully they'll show me how to put a bike on the back of a ramp so that I can do that bit as well, because I'm renownedly rubbish at dealing with bikes. I can do cars, I can't do bikes.
Wow, I love that one. That's so cool. Hey, Tom. The original Davis and
Oh,
Dawesy for the
yeah.
Combe TV evening, mate. I hope the new gig's going well. I'm still hoping that you guys are going to want some kind of show like this because we can get the band back together of Dawesy and Davis back together, and I'd love that. Well done, Helen. Can you drink as much coffee as Richard Beard?
I can categorically state I cannot drink as much coffee as Richard Beard because I don't drink coffee. So, yeah. So,
And that's backed up by that mug that we just saw briefly sneak in, has hot water.
It's hot water. I don't drink tea or coffee. I only drink hot water. So
wow. Mind you, I must be honest, the idea of you bouncing on caffeine is probably one of the scariest images ever.
To see that, really, no.
You're already like a caffeinated monster anyway at the best of times. So. And that, of course, is a compliment, by the way, just to make that one clear.
I'm not sure how to take that.
No, it was a compliment. Definitely, definitely. John King says, drivers on post means ice cream all afternoon if you tell them that's part of their role on the day.
Oh, John, see, you've gone to a grade 2 and now you're just putting stuff out there.
Yeah, that's supposed to be kept quiet, that, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say, now everyone's going to know now, John. Oh, I can't believe you let it out the bag.
And it's there, it's out, it's live, everyone knows. Paul Wiltshire says, not long to go now, training days first. Yeah, and I did open that up. 8th and 9th of March are the training days. Now, what does that involve?
So the 8th of March, see, I should know all this now, really, because the other joy I have, this just sounds terrible, like I'm doing everything, but I attended a course in November to become a registered motorsport trainer as well, Motorsport UK trainer. So I now help deliver the training as long as Mr. Hartington is happy with that, because he rules in the training world, and and Dave Weston as well, because I'm not arguing with them. But yeah, so training. The 8th, we've got a few people, a few groups on the 8th. We've got our post chiefs or aspiring post chiefs that need their specific. You were talking about the levels of training that you need to do to go up. You have to have some specific training to become either an incident officer or a post chief, which is now called a grade 3. So we've got our post chiefs and aspiring post chiefs. We have all our new marshals who are turning up on that day as well, and will be very capably looked after by Dan and Jill Webster, taking them around, showing them kind of how a race day works, taking them on post, doing some basic stuff so that they can come back on hopefully the 21st for the first race meeting. And what's the other group? Oh, how could I forget our specialists team? So assembly and start line, they're all there on the Saturday as well. They'll be doing some practical sessions. Hopefully we've got some lovely drivers who have volunteered to bring their cars in, who, if any of them are online, I will be in touch and I will be telling you what day I need you very shortly. And so we've got kind of a mix on the Saturday. On the Sunday, we have our grade 1 or our people that have done a few days. And so we've got a bit of experience. So grade 1 and grade 2s, where we do all the standard marshal training. So firefighting, first aid, first on scene, have a look at, again, I've got some great guys. Alicia's one of them, bringing her Formula Ford, so we're going to be able to look around a Formula Ford and have a bit of a look at that kind of stuff. And we'll be doing some scenarios, because historically I've been involved in helping people learn how to roll cars if the worst happens. And ideally we don't want it to happen. Last year I think there were 3 that we had to roll, so we don't get, the drivers are all fine, but just the recovery of the cars can be, you've got to know how to do it properly. There have been incidents where people have got hurt, and so we like to train that out.
Yeah. Is it, do you go for both days, or is it one day or the other?
It's one day or the other.
Right.
So yeah,
I thought it was.
We're limited on numbers, and so we want to get as many people in the right grade, which is why if people are aspiring to become, if they're already a grade 2 and are looking to become an IO or a post chief, then they can come on the Saturday, because generally we have the bulk of our marshals on the Sunday, which is why it's split that way, and historically has always worked really, really well. The bad news is, for anybody, you get to see me because I'm both days there anyway, so whichever day you come, you can't avoid me.
That's all good. That's all good. Is this something that you go to if you're interested, or is this for people that are already into that environment? And if you're interested, you wait for the new Marshall taster days?
No. So if you're interested, we can put you. We've got a marshal section for new marshals or those that have done less than 3 days, where we do a bit more of a introduction to the circuit and how it works and how a race day works, and we do some scenarios which allow you then to go straight on post on the first race day. The problem that we have with Combe is we only have a limited number of race days, and I only have a limited number of spaces for taster day marshals. So in the off season, if I can, I will get a group, and we usually have about 40 new marshals.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
so, and a lot of those, we do have some some cadet marshals, so under 18s. And they come along with their parent, and usually what happens is the parent then decides, oh, I quite like this marshalling lark as well, and we get 2 for the price of 1. So if people are interested, or they know friends that are interested, then they can just contact me, and I can allocate them a space.
Right, and I'm possibly putting you on the spot now, and I forgot to check to this. How do people apply to come on these days? Is it on the Castle Combe Racing Club website?
Yeah, or they can just email me on helen@cccracing.co.uk. And we can do it. But yeah, they can look on the Castle Combe website. They can look on the BMMC website, so marshals.org. There's a taster day option on there as well, so that they can put through. And if it comes through nice and quick, I can hopefully get them on the training day.
So that was Helen
at CC
Racing Club.
Yeah.
So there it is. There it is. As if by magic. Look at that, eh? See?
You're a professional.
Just tell I've done this before, can't you? So do drop.
So
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Drop Helen a line and find out more and get involved. It's definitely worth doing that one. Rob Jones, why? I hope it's accidentally you've put an angry emoji. I'm assuming that was probably one of the other ones, and it might have already changed. But you've put an angry Rob Jones. But you were there's nothing. Rob Jones never gets angry, so I'm sure it was accident.
Oh, I don't know. I have seen Mr. Jones angry.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I've never. He's just one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. So I'm interested. He's got another angle to him.
He's straight frustrated, probably.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Nigel Jones says, I was lucky enough to get selected for my first British Grand Prix last year, and then partied for my birthday with my Orange Army mates on the Sunday after the race. Helen has the photos.
I do. He did a shoey.
No.
Yeah. It was a little bit of camera magic, but he did do a shoey, and yeah, he had a great birthday. I can assure you of that.
That's brilliant. Nigel, you're a legend, mate, in my eyes then. Fair shout to you. Oh, this is a good point. I do want to say this. Kat Delocco says, can Castle Combe Racing Club thank Emma Brown, who has taken some time away from her role as the Formula Ford Championship coordinator, and welcome back Maggie Edwards, who is helping Formula Fords this season. Welcome back, Maggie, and thank you for everything, Emma. And I trust that doesn't mean you'll be a stranger. I'm sure I'll see you at a circuit somewhere. It will be brilliant. Tom Davis picked up on our comment earlier about the championships, and he says it amazes me that other championships don't do it. Only seen Caterham Academy drivers or drivers that no longer race and have become a marshal. No, there is some others out there. Like I say, I know the BMWs have done it, and there has been a few others where I've been at the circuit commentating. I know they've done it, but I agree. It'd be nice to see some more. Looking forward to starting my 7th year marshalling. Good man. Welcome back. Tom Davis said that saved the club a few quid. He's back to about the coffee, isn't he?
Probably, yeah.
Or they buy the teas, one or the other, is that Tom Davies says. Another one of the Orange Army, Chris Rea says, you only drink water. I don't think so. And I'm aware of this as well now.
Yeah, hot drinks, but yeah, I am a gin fiend, along with a few other things. But Chris Rea is hardly one to talk, I would point out.
Yes, fair shout, fair shout. Fair shout indeed. Paul Wiltshire says, looking forward to your presentation at Old Sarum Helen. Old Sarum Helen. What's that?
Yeah, the BMMC training session is at Old Sarum. So if there are people that can't make the Combe days and they're a member of the BMMC, they can come to the BMMC training, which is on the 22nd of February.
Okay, cool, like that.
And Paul's just saying that because that's where I'm going to be assessed to become a trainer.
Oh,
So,
really? Oh,
yeah.
gosh.
Later.
Adam Clark says 3 rollovers last year, and I did 2 of them. The Audi on day 1 and the mighty Volvo in the summer. I remember that one. So if you're on a post with me, sorry. Yeah, so it's all Adam's fault, isn't it? He's got the magnets out.
We do have a few magnets. So yeah, there's a few. And I would say our earlier contributor, Mr. King, is one of them as well.
Yes, I know. Even when I'm at Brands, there's a photographer that I accuse him of throwing banana skins out, because every time there's an incident, he gets the best photographs. And it's like, are you causing these just for the photos? So
if we're talking about the same photographer, he's renowned.
yes,
not
exactly.
Just at Brand.
So he knows that I always tell him that he's throwing banana skin. So whenever he tweets me, he always puts a banana skin emoji in there as well. It's quite funny. Henry Moore Racing, evening all. Hi Henry, good to hear from you, mate. Really successful in the sim world, this young lad, from what I hear, and I know his dad's very proud of everything he's doing. So I'm still hoping, Henry, that we're going to see you out on the circuit, buddy, and see if you can get as many championships or more as your dad. That would be good. Rob Jones says, sorry, I don't know what happened there. I knew it, mate. That's the only reason why I called you out, buddy, because I knew that it would have been a mistake. We love you. It's fine.
Very panicking when you called it out as well, and looking at his phone and trying to undo it.
I know. Bless him. You're all good. If it was anyone else, Rob, then I'd take it personally. But with you, mate, we love you. You're fine. Julian Fowler says, congratulations, Helen, on your new post as Chief Marshal.
Oh, thank you, Julian. Much appreciated. Still very scared.
No, you're all good. You're all good. Jamie Peters Ennis says, I can vouch that Helen does not drink only water. All I'll say is Brands Trucks Friday evening.
Yeah, a brand finale of the year. So, it's the last one of the year. So it, gets fun.
I should hope so. I'd be disappointed if it wasn't.
There's a lot of dancing goes on at Brands, the last meeting of the year.
Good arrows. I like that. Oh, Emma, you are watching. Wishing everyone a successful season, and wishing you a nice break, Emma, and hopefully catch up with you at some point. Don't be a strange, darling. Gary Hawkins is the man you're thinking of. It was Gary something. I don't think it was Hawkins. But anyway, for the photographer with the banana skins. Tim Fuchs Bell, one of our drivers, evening all, and good luck to everyone this year. Emma Brown also, by the way, says good luck on your new role, as does Ashley Hazel. Looking forward to the new season.
Now that's one of the people that travels more than me.
Fine.
And he does way more stuff abroad than I ever do. So yeah.
And it is, you do as much or as little as you can and you want to, and all of that sort of stuff. Right, Helen, I want to take you back now for those that maybe don't know you. Well, before we go back, actually, let's stick with the here and now. What else do you do outside of this?
Outside of I work full time.
I know, that's the point, is it really is. People need to appreciate this.
So yeah, I don't know. It still scares me when I say I'm a senior manager for an IT department in a local authority. So I'm sure I'm going to get some stick depending on who's on here about, it's a local authority, you don't actually work. But I do work. I work very hard. But I'm very lucky in that because it's local government, I get flex days. So if I work a long day, I can take a flex day, which is how I manage to do my track days. So I use up my flex days because I have no life outside of motorsport, and I like to go and do track days and have a laugh with the guys on the track team.
Got you. That makes sense. Now, I know from the conversation you and I were having before we went live, is that means that actually you never got to taste the Combe TV of its origins. Tom Davis, we heard from earlier. It was during that lockdown period, twice a week, that we were doing it at that stage, thanks to Sam Preston, you heard from in the early stages with his Oi Oi, and Tom Davis, their brainchild, their idea to start this up to sort of like support everyone during that lockdown. You weren't taking time off, were you, during that one?
No, unfortunately, with the local authorities, we were very busy trying to sort out all the grants and all the processes that required paper that we then couldn't do on paper. So yeah, I was very busy working very long days on that, and at the same time I started an apprenticeship degree at work as well. So I was doing a 2-year compressed degree. So during COVID I was managing all of that. So yeah, so I'd see the stuff on Facebook, but I just never had the time to have a look and see what was going on. As I say, we were talking earlier about I saw the dilly dilly and I was like, well, what's all that about? That makes what was that? And then the t-shirts came out and I felt massive FOMO. I'd like missed out the whole environment. So yeah.
Oh, bless you, bless you. That meant that you kept blood in your alcohol stream, so that's fine. That's not a problem. We didn't.
Yeah, I've managed to avoid that since, so we're all good now.
You've made up for lost time. I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Again, keeping the comments in, Emma Strawford says John Bryant is your man with the magnets. He does as well, to be fair. I'll give you that. Paul Wilkins says, a huge amount of work has gone into Quarry. Absolutely well done, guys. Amazing work up there over the winter. But are there any updates regarding Marshal facilities or environment? I don't know if you know the answer to this or not.
Yeah, I do. So I met with Steve in December and we walked around the circuit and I made a big list for him, which I then sent him via email, and I'm going back next week. Yeah, it is next week. And I'm hopefully going to tick lots of stuff off. And then on the training days, I'll be able to tell you what has and is still planned or what has been done. But certainly the bit that you will have seen from the photos, and I saw that some people had commented on it, is on Quarry, when they've rebuilt it, they've also flattened the Marshal standing point and put some hardcore down so that there's a flat place for people to stand on, because obviously knowing how when you stand at an angle on your ankles for 12 hours a day, that's really painful. So that was one of the things that we asked be done at the same time. So hopefully, Paul, I'll be able to give lots of updates. I know you can't make training, I think, if I remember correctly, but we can catch up and I can tell you what's going on.
Brilliant. Love that one. Thank you for that. Sue Woodland says, evening, can't wait for the new season to start and looking forward to training day 2. Brilliant. Can't wait to see you, Sue. It's been ages, way too long. Lewis Bird, evening all. Good luck as Chief Marshal, Helen. Hopefully, Lewis, we'll see Lewis out racing again with a bit of luck as well. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Peggy Spackman says, Combe TV kept us sane. Did the opposite to me because you watched me go insane on TV, but kept us in touch with the race days. Yes, of course, because it evolved to the live coverage of race days when we couldn't have people at the circuit. So it enabled you to watch Ross race in person. Still so thankful for the effort you all put in to make it all happen. Oh, bless you. Thank you very much for that. And obviously Tom and Sam and everyone else for that kept it going. Jeff Cusworth says, can't afford you doing the other Achilles, but you could have a yellow boot to go with your blue one. Is that you? That does remind me. I did see this earlier and I went past it. I'm going back to try and find this. Jeff Cusworth says, and they fit over your new blue boot.
What?
See, I'm intrigued now. So he's stirring something there.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll let that one fester, and he can tell you all about that later. Right. So we've got the here and now. Now let's go backwards. Where did and I'm assuming that you have a love of motor racing to want to be at these places. Where did that come from?
So my dad was a huge Formula One fan. And for anybody that's my age and lived in Bristol, I was taken to the power boats in the docks every year that it ran. So yeah. I'm not old enough that I remember it. The first year I went, I was a baby in a basket, but I went until it finished for 18 years. So when it finished 18 years later, I have been to every single one. And then it moved on to Formula One and British touring cars with Cleland and Soper and all that kind of, non-rubbing is racing, no hunting each other off is racing, and it's all good fun and maybe some fisticuffs.
And they wanted to come first. I've changed that because obviously I'm on camera, but we know that's not what Cleland
they wanted
did.
to come first, definitely. There was no second. So kind of watching that on World of Sport and all the kind of TV shows that were on a Saturday. And then my dad passed away when I was younger as well. And so I just kind of, my mum was then, well, we'll watch it. So she watched it with me. She's now very heavily into Formula One as well. She loves it. And so yeah, it just progressed, and then it was just something that I watched and always kind of thought, oh, fancy getting involved in that, but you know, I don't have the money and all this kind of stuff. And then family and children came along, and so it was a New Year's resolution in 2017 that I was going to go and see if I could go and get involved in marshalling. So, and then 8 years later, oh good grief, what the heck have I signed up to?
So 2017. Isn't that weird? That feels like that's not very long ago, but it actually is, isn't it now?
Yeah.
2025, yes. And was that at Castle Combe?
It was at Castle Combe. So my New Year's resolution was I went onto the Castle Combe website and I emailed and said, how can I become a marshal? And I think they had a taster day. And I said, how can I join a taster day? And Richard said, oh, you don't need to do a taster day, just come to training. So that was my first introduction at training, which is why I'm keen for other people that want to do taster days to do training. And then my first actual event, it was also the first year, I think, that the Recticel was in at Quarry. And they had, I never forget it, they had the BMW Come On series. And, you know, we did training, and Richard said, we always start newbies in pits or assembly. No, I was on Quarry. And basically the BMWs came up the hill on the first practice session. One of them went into the Recticel, reversed out and drove off. And I think he must have told all his friends. And for the rest of the day, they all just piled into the Recticel and reversed out. And I had great fun. And I took about 5 BMW badges off the floor and produced for my son, who thought that was really cool.
Yeah, the Recticels, they're one of the best inventions, but also one of the, I'm going to use the phrase one of the worst. That's not true. But what I mean by that is it gives people a false sense of security as well, doesn't it?
It does, including marshals, because you can
really?
never tell whether, when you have to jump down and deal with it, if the Recticel is going to be hard and you're going to spring 400 feet forward, or soft and you're just going to sink like a plummeting stone to the ground, which obviously the crowd tend to find funny.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they are incredible. I've watched, I've watched sort of like GT cars hit them and then come out with just their wing mirror folded, and that's it.
Oh, it's ridiculous. You can hear, oh, there's we've got 3 cars in, or they've all driven off, and then you can't work out which ones they were because you can't see any obvious damage. It's just, you know, they're really, really good, and they do save a lot of injury and a lot of damage.
Yeah, and it keeps them back out in the thing. Where I think it falls down is some of the sort of track days and action days where it gives the wannabes that false sense of security that they think, oh, it's fine, I can go full pelt. It's like, look, they're not foolproof, guys.
Yeah,
they're incredible, but
I think there's an element of, I don't think whether the Recticels are there or not, some people would be put off by not having them there. But yeah, you know, it is what it is, and if it saves injury and damage and it means we can recover things quickly, then that's all a positive, whether it be a race day or an action day.
No, agreed. Jeff Cusworth's cleared this up. Thanks, Jeff. He said his comment was actually a reply to Paul Wilkins, who has popped his Achilles doing the very dangerous sport of badminton and has a blue cast on. I've got you, Jeff. Sorry, mate. We don't see it in relation to what you're replying to. My apologies, mate. I get it. John Creech.
Paul did tell me that he calls that playing badminton, and I was surprised. A sport is dangerous, you know.
Absolutely.
Any sport is dangerous. It's why I try and avoid it at all costs, apart from the motorsport.
Exactly right. John Creech, evening, mate. Good to hear from you, buddy, and I hope you're well. Look forward to seeing you at a track somewhere with your camera in hand, as always. Recticel is amazing, looks spectacular, and doesn't damage the cars, but I imagine a nightmare to put back in place. Good to see other circuits using it. Costly, but it's probably worth it. It is hard to put back in place, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's the worst thing, because if a car's gone in and scrunched it all up and you've got a gap, obviously that's the worst thing, is when you get a gap in the Recticel, because it's there to protect it. So you've then got to try and bump everything down. And yeah, it looks like it should be really light, but if you add water to it and the cover's split, and then you just, you know, think, oh, I'll just pull it a little bit and there's water in it, you just face plant it, and yeah, all the humiliating things marshals go through.
And people don't realize is that, that they have a lifespan if they're hit too many times. I mean, I remember seeing several Brands Hatch springs to mind, for example, certainly down at Hawthorns when they're hurtling down there. And actually, that's probably not damaged. It just shows that it's not foolproof. Is that if you're catching it wrong at the speed, it can actually send you over the top as well. So
Yeah.
you need to still respect everything around that circuit. But I mean, I applauded the circuit again. I mean, you're talking. It used to be when they first came out. I think there was something like £500 a section. I'm told that's at least doubled now per section. So the investment from the circuits, Castle Combe obviously very heavily with where they put it. I cannot thank them enough and applaud them enough for doing that. When you consider that when they've been hit, and I don't know what the number is, but X number of times, they got to be replaced again.
Yeah. So as marshals, you see that the integrity's gone, because obviously they're like sort of like honeycomb, but not. It's got big gaps in it. But you can see if you're putting it together, then you're pulling bits out, and that's when obviously you've got to get the lorry in to take the bits away, because that's not something you can just chuck over the barrier. It's quite a heavy piece of item. I mean, the circuit do spend a lot of money on it, and the amount of covers that get ripped as well. So
yes.
Pop a cover and the bottom comes off and it's useless, so yeah, it is a costly thing, but yeah, the benefits probably do outweigh the cost, although I'm sure Graham would like people not to hit them as much, and then you would
be better. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. The Radstock Rocket says Recticel is a godsend for bikes. Straw bales hurt when you hit them. I say that from experience. I can imagine, mate. I can definitely imagine that. Baldrick Bryan, evening Gin Master and co. I think we're both Gin Masters from what I hear, so we'll both take that. John Creech also says, sounds like there's a lot of valuable learning from experience and lessons from using it. Absolutely, mate, without question. Right, so you convinced yourself you're a motor racing fan. I'm going to start marshalling. You did that in, did you say 2017?
Yeah.
So 2017, you came through. So that's, what are we at now? 2025. So that's 8 years of being a marshal up through that. And I will go into more detail, but I'm just going to do the potted bit to start with. That now we find you becoming Chief Marshal, which, as well as still, I'm sure you'll still be an Orange Army because you want to be, but you're looking after the crew now and what have you. What does that involve?
Lots of emails, lots of work with the circuit to kind of plan stuff, speaking to a lot of seniors about kind of the staffing, the marshalling availability on the day, playing a massive game of Tetris, allocating people to posts, trying to make sure that those people that want upgrades are with an assessing post chief. Trying to make sure that people get a varied view of the circuit, so that they're not always on the same post each circuit. So they're kind of monitoring who's where and who was where last time, and if people have got specific preferences that require them to be on a specific post, then trying to accommodate all of that stuff. So it's just like a giant jigsaw puzzle, and I'm just trying to help wherever I can. So obviously I try and help Kat when she wants some support. I try and help George with some marketing if it's required, and I'm then trying to look after all the marshals and try and make sure that hopefully they feel that Castle Combe care about them, because you can go a lot of places and you might get a free breakfast, but actually it's just a token, and that's all you get, which is great. Castle Combe's always done it differently in that their marshals get a drink at the end of the day usually, so there's a bit of a socialized time and a bit of a replay time for the Chief Marshal to say, well, this has gone really well, or this hasn't gone really well, or are there any comments, and again, it's about that family type environment. So I'm trying to keep that going, because obviously Richard and predecessors have done a really good job in creating it, so there's no pressure at all to maintain it and be amazing as they are. But I'm enjoying it. It's fun. I haven't done it on my own. Richard's last year I was doing allocations and stuff and kind of sending stuff out. This year's the first time I've really got involved with the training side of it and organising training day. But I'm sure as many people will tell you I'm quite an organizer and I like to boss people around and get things done. So yeah, and all this, Richard picked me. I was the only candidate. It was me or nothing.
I'm
So
not having it. I'm not having that. I'm not taking that. It's a great selection. You've seen the positivity. What I also want to just draw people's minds to is there is an organisation called Driven Minds UK, who are very much about promoting good mental health and healthy mindset within motorsport and automotive. I love their thing, accelerating positive change. The reason why I'm bringing it up in this, what I love is that they are not just about drivers. One of the biggest things they had was the Orange Army, because of course in certain circumstances the Orange Army can be seen amongst everybody at 6:30, 7 in the morning, and then not see another soul or only a few souls until right at 7 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. Weather could have been all sorts of mix of things could have happened out there. And so they're very much about supporting. And I find that's happening a lot, Helen, both with, and the reason why I'm bringing it up is that you have clearly taken that role on to heart, really, not just to task, but to heart. And there are these organizations out there that are really about making sure that we really support each other and we look after each other.
yeah, absolutely. And I think that's really critical for marshals. Marshals can see some awful stuff. You know, this is motor racing. Motorsport is dangerous. We see the signs all over the place, and I think we just kind of block it out. You know, you can see some tough stuff, and that's not only marshals. That's your med centre team. That's your recovery crew. We're all in the same boat, as well as some members of the public. So there are organisations, and obviously Motorsport UK have counselling services that they offer should there be a serious incident. The BMMC also have something similar, and Castle Combe itself, our own Chris Mason, would more than happily talk to anyone that may be feeling stressed or upset about something that they've seen. But then it's about the camaraderie, and also when you're on post, you can usually tell if somebody's upset by something, and it's taking them to one side and going, it's fine to be upset. Do you want to stand down? We don't want you to think you've got to still be here. If something's happened that's upset you, just go away. You know, go and speak to Chris. We'll take you somewhere. We'll go and have a coffee or something. You know, providing the post numbers are okay, which at Castle Combe we've already said we're quite lucky. So it is about looking after people, and I get perturbed when it's obvious that somebody's upset and nobody's doing anything about it. It really bothers me, because then that's giving them a bad view of marshalling, and I want marshals to enjoy what they do. We get the best seat in the house for watching the racing, and we're forever grateful for the racing drivers, because they enable us to do our hobby as they're doing theirs. And so yes, we get the best seat in the house. We do get slight perks, which is great. You know, we can get in and we can park, and we don't pay because we're helping the circuit, volunteering for the circuit. But it's still our hobby as well, and we need to enjoy it. And so the laughter on post and the good times on post also has to stand up when something's not gone well or somebody's upset, and we have to stand up by them as well. So it just kind of is natural to me, and it bothers me when I don't see it all the time.
Which is why I want to bring that up, is that I think it's important that people know that you're there for that as well. And I do love that Castle Combe also has the chaplaincy wandering around. That's quite a new thing over the last couple of years, isn't it?
Absolutely. They bring cake.
They do. We've had them brought up to the commentary box as well, and they're good cakes normally as well.
Cakes, however, I would say that I do rotate my posts so that everybody that's on the inside of the track does try and go on the outside of the track. That's because I know there is concern about the cake supply not reaching the inside of the track. So it's on my list of things to monitor, and I hope the chaplaincy are going to continue to bring cake, because they are lovely.
And it's worth pointing out is that I'm very much about mental health. I mean, we have challenges if we've had a very serious incident on circuit and there's a long delay. One of the lovely compliments I have is that I just kind of keep the noise going, keep the interaction going, keep people distracted, keep people okay. That doesn't mean that I'm in the commentary box watching race control running around like mad, and anything else that's happening inside my stomach and everything else is doing flip-flopping. But it's my role to kind of like, no, let's play it cool, Trig, play it cool, and we have fun and keep everyone engaged and all of that. So don't be strong. Don't be bloody minded. Don't be overly brave. Is that we're human beings first and foremost. And no matter how much I might sound like I'm having fun, matter how much you look like you're there, got your job, if something's not right, speak to people for goodness sake. And what I adore about motorsport in general, Castle Combe seems to take it to a whole other level, is that the family community is strong. It's real, it's there. And I love, Helen, that you kind of epitomize that for me. That's the how I would sum that one up. And please do, keep that going, Helen. It's just wonderful to hear. And thank you that you're going to be doing that for our family, the motorsport family. Before I get upset, Julian Fowler says, if I remember correctly, at Goodwood, we had a wreck to sell recovery race in which we beat you, but you claimed a draw. Very hard to lift up, but easy to drop.
We so beat you, Julian. Let's not even pretend that you got anywhere near that. So yeah. There's no competition in marshalling, but we beat you, Julian.
Yeah, there's no competition, but we beat you. I've got you. Jamie Peters then says, Rex Barrow is a great initiative. Proof of the pudding was how they saved Jasmine Norman and Dave Spiller after their horrific accidents last year. Absolutely. The speed of those were just mind-blowing and incredible, and they really did. Great examples. Jeff Cusworth says, Helen, talking of upgrades, I want to go 3+ brackets assessor.
Always wanting the next level, Jeff. Always want the next level. Come and speak to me and we'll have a conversation about it.
Love it. Julian Fowler says, hope to get to Combe this year. So there'll be more competition there then.
I'll put him. Luckily, we don't have to move our wreck to sell. You see, Goodwood, for the bikes, you have to put it down, and for the cars, you have to bring it up.
Oh, okay. So, I like that.
So well, it's a lot of work for the marshals. So you kind of learn what post you're on and if that's going to be it, then it's and they need it done quick. So you do end up racing each other if you've got two.
I love that. I'm going to be looking out for that now in places. Jeff Cusworth also says, as a marshal, you make friends for life, even away from the circuits. Still marshal with some of the team in the team of plus 40 years. And I think that sums it up. That is lovely. Margaret, hello, Margaret Talling. God bless you. Love you to pieces. There is always a shoulder to cry on at Combe. Hugs are free. I get hugs with you, Margaret, whether there's emotions or not. I just love my hugs and I'm missing them, Margaret. So I can't wait to see you. But that does sum it up, is that, again, Margaret is very much of that mold, isn't she?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was going to mention that when we were talking about, people that you can go speak to, everyone knows Margaret. Everyone can speak to Margaret. She's always happy to have a chat and a chin wag. And I'm very lucky that I can call Margaret a friend as well.
I agree, definitely, without question. Jeff Cusworth says, as a post chief, with any serious incident, either myself or Richard Owen check in with the team a couple of days later. And I think that's worth is that people knowing, Helen, even more with your role, is it's not just the weekend, is it? There's the leading into it. And as Jeff's drawing conclusions there, as a post chief, taking that responsibility for the people that were on that post is checking in with them after the weekend as well.
Absolutely. So that's the role of the post chief. They're to look after their post. They're to look after the people, and it's great when they take that responsibility away and get contact details. I'm lucky enough to be friends with the post chief whose hut was destroyed at Thruxton with the truck. And he had 3 trainees on post that day, and I know that he contacted them all, and so did Bark, and so that did Motorsport UK just to check on them. But that's the point. There's numerous people. If that's how it should be. That's how we want to encourage people to stay and just looking after each other. I think it's the right thing to do.
No, 100%. Joe Shingler says, as the PC at Goodwood, Helen's team won. That's official. Shingler said it. It's done. That's it. It's finished. It's done. We've got the winner. We've got the winner. Okay, so how are you feeling about this year ahead? I mean, we're having a lot of fun. There's a lot of camaraderie. You and I have spoke that there's still this sort of like you're taking the responsibility very, very seriously. That means that is nerves the right? I think I don't know whether nerves is the right word to use.
Yeah, no, I think it is. Terrified would be another word I could use.
Right. Okay.
only because of, I'm filling some really big boots. Richard's done an amazing job, and there's a level of expectation on what I can deliver. And so I've kind of said in a few things that I've said to marshals, I'm probably going to mess up at some point, but do I get a honeymoon period? I don't know. Are people going to allow me to do stuff like that and mess up? I hope so. But I also hope that if I do mess up, people can just come and tell me and give me the feedback and say, do you know what? That didn't really work. Don't do something different. And I'll change, because I'm all about learning. It's a new role to me. I want to try and inject something fresh and different into it. I'm not saying that Richard wasn't fresh and different. I'd just like to point that out in case anybody is recording this for Richard.
There's only one Beardy.
Exactly. So I just want to, I'm just going to do my best. That's all I can do. And I will still be marshalling at other circuits, but I will be Chief Marshal for every race day at Castle Combe.
I do love that, and of course, Richard Beard's still around. So you
Yeah, and I've got lots of people, bless them, that have said if I want a hand, then they'll be willing to help. And so they just need to remember that they said that. I have recorded it, and at some point, I'm sure I will be asking them to do something.
Exactly. You've got those shoulders to sort of like rest on, or the ears to pick, or whatever else it may be. Medic Mason, evening, buddy. He says, evening all. Good to hear from you, mate. I can't wait to see you again, mate. I hope you and the family are well. Lulu Tupu says, coming back to Bristol for work this summer from France. Can't wait to be with you guys in Castle Combe. David Campion from Wiltshire College. Hello all. Sorry, late on. You always are, mate, aren't you? Helen, you'll be great, and the Marshall team are fantastic. Just ask if we can help. So obviously that's at Wiltshire College. Doesn't surprise me. And Jeff Cusworth rightly says what I've just said. Monsieur Beard is watching. So, and I don't think he means that in a freaky way. I think he means that in that you've got help. You've got the support there if you want. Oh, bless him. Mason says, sorry, didn't realise you were on, mate. Joshy says, hey, Dawesy. Hey, Joshy. Hope you're well, young man. Very quickly, what I am going to do, because I think it's a nice way to sort of finish this one. I'm going to share screen a second. Where is it? Where have I gone? I'm going to go that one. So let's bring that up just to prove that you've been out there. There's you at Castle Combe.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
So that was last year after Race of Remembrance. So we went up and did the Race of Remembrance, a group of marshals, and that was our We Survived the Weekend photo.
Wow. Isn't that, I mean, that circuit, Anglesey, is absolutely beautiful. But I mean, A, it really takes forever to get there. And B, when the weather's bad, the weather's bad.
The weather's bad, and bless. So three of the people in that photo also did the biathlon of foolishness. And so Duncan Patrick from the start line, Rob Hambley, who's one of our marshals, and Christina, who's there with the red hair, who's an Alton marshal, started as a bit of a joke about them doing the biathlon of foolishness, and amazingly they raised over £1,000. And for those that don't know, the biathlon of foolishness is meant to be halfway around the track, although there was some shortcutting going on due to them being in fancy dress and being late to the start line, down the hill, into the sea, out for a swim, back up the hill, and then back in. And Duncan was a great Smurfette, Rob was a flamingo, and Christina was a nun. And £1,000 was raised for heroes. So amazing effort. And it all started, that's why you can't joke as a marshal, because you will end up doing silly stuff. So don't say, oh, I'll do that, because I'll make you do it.
It will be remembered. I was worried for a second. I thought that down the bottom there was an alligator or something, but it's just a piece of wood, so that's fine.
Piece of wood, yeah.
That's all right then. That's all right. Next up, is that Spa?
That's Spa. Yeah, that was our trip out to Spa. So
wow.
So all the English marshals are behind the Marshals on Tour flag, because that's kind of a little group that we have going as well, and that's with the other marshals that we were on post with. So there was 5 of us that went out and marshaled at Spa for the Formula One, which was just nuts. We were all like, how are we here? This is ridiculous. But so again, a joke about we should go and marshal Spa. I take these things to heart. I organised it and dragged people along, and we're planning on Zandvoort next year. So
wow, fantastic. I am envious. I nearly got the chance to commentate over in Spa, but it didn't quite happen, and I've therefore not been there. What's that?
That is the British Grand Prix a couple of years ago, and it
Oh,
rained and rained and rained, and so that's usual marshal gear. If you're marshalling, expect to look like that a lot of the time.
and on that front, if someone's thinking of getting into marshalling, what gear do they need from the get-go?
A waterproof coat and some good shoes.
But are they specific? Like, so obviously we see that they're orange waterproof coats.
So most marshals have orange. Our overalls are obviously generally orange, apart from Goodwood, where you can wear white overalls. You don't need to have Pro Ban overalls. For the first year of marshalling, I did not have a set of Pro Ban overalls. I had a high vis vest and a waterproof coat and some steel toe cap boots, and that was
Oh,
it. That was all I had. You don't have to have the gear. It's nice, and if you join clubs, certain clubs or groups, you can get the gear paid back or reduced price, but you don't need it. The other thing you do need is a good pair of gloves. So obviously, if you're pushing a car or picking up a hot piece of break, you want some gauntlets or you want something that will protect your hands. So yeah, you can actually do it. I mean, my current waterproof coat is orange, and I got it for 25 quid off Amazon.
oh wow, really?
Other shops are available.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so it doesn't have to cost you the world. And yeah, you can just start, which is why I say to people, come along, do a taste day, do training, come to the first race meeting. It may be that you decide standing up for 12 hours in the pouring rain really isn't for you, in which case don't waste your money. Just bring a waterproof coat. It doesn't have to be orange, as long as it doesn't clash with the flags and you're going to be warm and dry, then that's absolutely fine. But yeah, orange is the obvious one that doesn't clash. So
No, absolutely. And that's the reason why I want to bring that up, is that if people are thinking about it, don't go and get all of the gear at the get-go. Do it, get yourself into it, and then the stuff gets added, and more and more gets done that makes you comfortable, and it's what's right for you.
yeah.
Is that back at Anglesey again?
No, I don't. I was trying to think where this was when I sent it to you. No, it's Donington. But Martin Tucker's one of our flaggies, the guy stood behind me who comes regularly. And yeah, we're trying to get more people to come to Castle Combe. So I go out and since I found out I was going to be doing Chief Marshal, I've been going out going, come to Castle Combe, you need to come to Castle Combe for the races, come and help. And luckily for those travelling marshals, we've got 3 weekend meetings this year, 2 run by the racing club and 1 that the circuit's hired out for. So it's easier for people to come and do 2 days with us.
Love it. I love it. I had to bring those photos up. Thank you for sending them through. Dave Baggy Malpass. Hello, mate. Hi, guys. Just a message to say congratulations to Helen on a new role, and I hope she can show her presence around the circuit as well as on it. Rich is a hard act to follow, but a new season and a new chief. So let's get behind her. I also see there's no change that you have a glass of G&T in your hand. That's me. That's me, isn't it? Sorry, mate. But in fairness, we had to make sure, because that could have been you he was referring to there, couldn't it?
Yeah, but not tonight.
Not tonight. Not tonight. You're safe. The legend himself has messaged.
Oh.
Richard Beard, rest assured, I only want the best for Combe Marshal family, and they are in safe hands with Helen. I think that's a lovely, succinct message, Helen. And I almost feel that that's kind of almost the best way to end this show. I could carry on talking to you for forever. There's no question about it. You're an absolute bundle of energy, and I love that. And I think everybody is in safe hands. I hope that this has got everybody excited for the new season, whether you're in Orange Army to know you're in safe hands, that it's going to continue, whether you're a spectator, whether you're a racer. We're going to get this racing going again. Helen, it's been an absolute pleasure to catch up with you. Thank you so much. And I told you it'd be all right, didn't I?
And I would also say that if you see me around the track, my intention is to walk around the track every race meeting. So whether you're a spectator or you're, your crew watching or you're racing, I'll be saying hello to the marshals. But feel free to say hello to me. And if you've got any questions about becoming a marshal, then just fire them away at me.
Absolutely. Please do. We need, without the mighty Orange Army, we don't get racing at all. So please do. Let's keep the future bright. The future's orange. I'll get sued for that, but I'm running with it anyway. Listen, thank you so much for joining us. Jeff says, see you all at training. Chris Mason's also said, just want to say congratulations to Lucy Blackburn on becoming the new CMO, and thanks to Avik for everything. Yeah, thank you, Avik, for everything.
Definitely.
Welcome, Dr. Lucy Blackburn. Thank you for that. Our very own Emma Strawford says, top job, Helen. Applause, kisses and hearts. So that's lovely as well. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. It's an absolute pleasure to be back with you again, and we look forward to seeing you. So what have we got? We've got the Marshal training day. Let me go back to my calendar so I'm not doing it from memory. 8th and 9th.
March.
Yep, so 8th and 9th of March for that one. And then we've got 5th of April is the media day. And our first race day is on Easter Monday. Of course, it is Howard's Day, as always, on Monday, the 21st of April. And it'll be with us in no time at all, and we'll be ready to roll.
Absolutely.
Helen Magee, congratulations on the new role.
Thank you
so much for joining us, and I can't wait to see you at the circuit.
Cheers, mate. See you there.
Take it steady. Cheers all.